Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and another riveting Propagandacast with me, host Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, here of Psych, Defender over the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Crossing in the Woods. The setting is 1944, somewhere around the Hutgan Forest. The Americans are ceaselessly advancing here with Ku2521, we'll just call him Ku, fighting here for the 2nd Armored Division, advancing through this dark, forbidding forest. In the south, we got Babyubyu. We'll just call him Bernhard, fighting here for the Oberkommando, the German Army of Deutschland, forming up their 15th Panzergrenadiers. With a Volksgrenadier Kubang side here to back up the Sturmpanzers. He's also got fortifications, Luftwaffe and Spec Ops. Versus in the north we got Ku with heavy cavalry, rifle and airborne. And triple infantry bulletins there. We got riflemen setting out there for Ku as well, moving out swiftly for America, freedom and democracy. Sturmpanzers advancing up, quickly wiring off there. In the west we got Ku's Reasons advancing with rifle backing up with another squad there arriving for Ku as well. Slowly but surely the Reasons just, pass through this sort of nice little terrain there. Having a nice day, thinking about, how nice there isn't any Germans about. Which of course will soon change. Point there being secured. Wiring off here further, we can see that Bernhard is much interested in ensuring the munitions point isn't easily sort of held there by Ku, which is certainly not a bad idea there at all. Not making a rush for the field either. Kuban moving up here, probably trying to suss out if what his opponent's doing over here. More folks is there for Babyubyu or Bernhard. Rifleman on the way there for Ku. More infantry overall for both sides, and there we go. We can see that Ku's beginning to move eastwards there. He will soon be encountering Bernhard's men of the 15th Panzergrenadier. Kubang securing more territory. Forces are done. We'll have to see if he tries to take up sooner. He's going to probably go for more Volksgrenadiers, but he could go for a fast tech theoretically. Ku, there's 3rd Rifle Squad almost done. We'll have to see if he goes for the Lieutenant or El Capitan. Points there being slowly but steadily secure. There you go. First engagement here. Roughly 2-minute mark. Full of this rifle here, quickly breaking off here rather than trying to fight off. He could try and push close, but in this case, not enough cover for him to safely do so. In which case, the full could get him for good damage rather than being pushed back. Kubang on watch here, and we got more riflemen about to converge in the center victory point. In which case, the Kubang could do some damage with support from the Volksgrenadiers. 3rd squad on the way there for Bernhard. Ku can soon go for another rifle squad if he wants to. Of course, he could consider that delicious option of taking out for something a bit bigger. In the west, we got Volksbus Rifle there. Pressure is increasing here on Bernhard and the German army. At the same time, he's flanking up behind Ku here, going to his car point. And there you go, drawing them in a bit more into the open, which gives you a good chance of doing some damage with the Volksbus Kugelwagen. Sturmpioneers probably should be assisting here, but the most wanted just ground the point. You feel like that's a missed opportunity. I think do some more damage to the rifleman. Particularly that squad is very low on health here. So that the Sturmpioneers been sort of been timed to hit in at the correct time. Probably could have gotten some good kills in there. But Kubang withdraws and set to put pressure down here in the south by the munitions point there. Interesting enough, he allows the poorly health riflemen to fight against the Sturmpioneers. Pretty risky there for Ku, to be honest, although it seems like Bernhard isn't paying attention, in which case Ram can still win this, since at long range the Sturmpioneers' DPS drops heavily. Ambulance flying up there for Ku. Wolf Volksman's there for Bernhard. And the Sturmpioneers sort of slowly end up losing. I mean, they're close in this case at getting some kills, but again, as you might notice, it's happening at a much slower pace because usually just closed in, they just stuck to the cover, got a bit closer, got into effective range, in which case he probably could have beaten the rifleman easy. But he was busy paying attention elsewhere. 4th Volksgrenadier squad out there for Bernhard, so that's a ton of infantry out here for him. Points there being secured. And truck almost done there for Bernhard. Could be mechanized, could be battle group headquarters. We'll see what it ends up with. Lieutenant out here for Ku. Adding that fellow to the proceedings, of course, also indicates 50 calibers and possibly the anti-aircraft half-track, to which to put some pressure on those goddamn crowds. So fuel point in the east exposed. Ku is likely going to hit for it, and we can see there Bernhard is also sensing his fuel point is exposed, so he's going to try and move in there. He's otherwise met the defense of there. Ku is able to fight several good engagements and gain control of most of the map. Victory points wise, though, he is not otherwise there that strong, so that's a potential bright spot for Bernhard. Volksgrenadier moving about, repairing up some stuff here. Schwerer der Max-Schlepper, just waiting to get the orders to pack up into something. And we got a rifle company here for Ku. An interesting choice here. Volksgrenadier flanking up behind here. Volksgrenadier attacking towards the fuel point here, seizing territory there. And there you go, Kubang good to go here for the German army once more. The truck that remains inert as it awaits they go ahead. Heading the cutoff point here, as he apparently doesn't feel like he can quite counter-attacking right away, so rather than trying to do that, he's just going to ensure that Ku doesn't get anything out of it right away. Which is overall a pretty solid approach. We got flamethrowers up there for his re-echelons. They got good work there. 50 cal falling up here for Ku. More forces coming up to defend, but there you go. A lot of pressure here on Bernhardt's eastern forces, of the main forces actually making push for the southern fuel. You likely won't be able to stall for here much longer. An interesting tactical decision there by Bernhardt to basically concede this area. Though, of course, stalling Ku from actually getting anything out for some time, it then makes the big push in the west. Not something you'd actually see a lot of players do. Most players will just, very stubbornly defend, the same stretch of dirt to the very end, no matter how much it actually doesn't benefit him in the long run. But Bernhardt here seemingly decided, you know what, I can make better progress by heading elsewhere. So, good tactical approach, I think, there with Bernhardt, certainly indicates a more flexible mind, which is actually quite important. Rifle enforcing, ambulance doing a bit of good there. Weapon racks up as well. There'll probably be some bars and some bazookas. Mechanized right in here for Bernhardt. Opening up for some reconnaissance there in the form of the looks. He could also, be worried about enemy light vehicles, more go for the Puma, but I imagine it's going to be a looks here for Bernhardt to just try and push hard against Ku and the armies. Forces are falling back swiftly in the east, rifle advancing quite nicely. No real resistance here, as again Bernhardt's primary effort in the west. He's managed to sandbag up here in the time before getting hit by the 50 caliber. Very nice, but there you go. Ku's about to flash him out of the heavy cover. Using the flamethrower, nice little combo there. Flamethrower and heavy machine guns. Either he runs, and, fully tries to get out of cover, gets suppressed, or he gets murdered in the cover. So you generally don't have a lot of options for that sort of combo there. Bernhardt going for the looks. Ku going for the carve point. Nice sharp move there. And since Bernhardt does lack any suppressor weapons, there's no easy way here for him to really sort of stop Ku's push over the carve point. Ooh, we do have a quick incendiary grenade there. Nice way, and it just causes Ku there to just immediately hit the retreat button rather than risk any needless losses. In these riflemen heading for the point here in the west, also good advanced rations, and the riflemen advancing, seizing as much as possible there for freedom, democracy, the American dream. And looks almost done. Troops reinforcing. Do we have any medical supplies from the Sturmpion unit? Nope. None of that yet. Also no doctrine there for Bernhardt either. We do have a few bars up the rifleman, but that would likely indicate no bazookas at all, meaning he's actually rather vulnerable to the looks. That's going to be great news there for Bernhardt. That should allow him to, I think, make a rather successful counterattack here versus Ku, since that means the looks doesn't actually have a lot to worry about. I mean, I doubt he's mined in the first place, which pretty much just leaves him with anti-tank rifle grenades and a really lucky series of armor-piercing round hits from the 50 caliber to maybe have a chance of damaging it. And even that, like, he'd have to be absurdly lucky to have a chance of being taken out using that. So right now, Ku there might have made a bit of an oversight there against Bernhardt. Got a bit too confident. Although he's in trouble. He's going for bazookas now, though. I think, no? There we go. The one bazooka. That's all he can afford, by the way. One bazooka to stop that Kraut-like tank. Trying to buy time here with the bazooka team to arrive to push away the looks. And looks like Bernhardt is sufficiently intimidated by the overall just one bazooka to just begin pulling back his light tank in there, since he does not wish to risk anything. I mean, if he does lose the looks through, a freak series of events, he'd certainly be in a lot of trouble, since there'd be no way to really then stop all of Ku's infantry from just overrunning him. Since they all got bars and they got 50 calibers, meaning there's not a lot of ways that currently Bernhardt's infantry can fight very favourably. So everything I think is right now hinging here on Bernhardt's looks for the 15th Panzergrenadiere. Immediate take up there. Ku is just going to try and rush out Shermans as fast as possible. Might go for the regular one. He could go for the EC8. Bit more tricky in some ways since it is a bit more expensive, but if he does pull it off, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare there for Bernhardt to deal with. MG34 there for Bernhardt, realising he does need some pressure firepower there versus the armies to keep their heads down, at least try to force them to keep it down. There you go, MG34 out here. Still no doctrine for Bernhardt. That's only going to be a question of what he's going to aim for at this stage. Could go for Spec Ops and the Command Panther. That'd be very much the unmeta choice. Lothar with Falchi makes could work out. And in theory, there's also, you know, fortifications with howitzers and Patriot fleets here. So we'll see what it ends up with there. Fulton dealing with the riflemen there. Up north here, we got Fulton with the riflemen there as well. Just, you know, serious skirmishers here, but only the one in the south here really going his way due to the rifle not having a lot of cover. And of course, the Looks also bringing into support. Ku is still supremely short on anti-tank weapons otherwise. He's bringing up more 50 calibers, but they are not, again, wild Looks counters. Might get up an anti-tank rifle grenade here, which could help slow down the Looks. And with the bazooka team in the Empire, theoretically, there's a small chance of taking out that given enough time, but the problem is the reagents are going to get focused down. He's got nothing else to sort of screen and protect them from the Fulton grenadiers with and the Looks. So while he got the Looks down to half health, ultimately he just didn't have enough resources in the area to really just deal with it. On the other hand, with the damaged engine, he can push elsewhere since it's not going to be able to react immediately. Machine Head needs to significantly defending the fuel point there. Push up for the center. We got more Stern Punch on the way there for Bernhardt. A very interesting choice there. Most Upper Commandos players tend to only stick to one ever, so seeing another one there is interesting. Very. Also taking up could be the Battlegroup headquarters, could be the Schwer Panther headquarters. It really depends if he's going to go for the Spec Ops and a Command Panther, considering that is what most Oberkommando players do. It certainly seems like the more likely option, but even then, the double Stern Panther is usually not seen as part of this strategy. It's not seen as part of most strategies, but certainly not part of the Command Panther rush. If again that is what Bernhardt is playing at. That's the big question here. Shots being fired here, 50 cover, they're helping deal with the Looks. I like the Looks with the Kubelwagen. The Kubelwagen driver was, I'm sure, would be wishing he was drowning a bloody Looks around the Kubelwagen. But there you go, 50 come dealing with troops. He did get the Lieutenant, which is a pretty nice kill there for Bernhardt against Ku. He's also had to get control of both fuel pumps right now, which is also very beneficial for him. Ku, though, is slowly heading for the Sherman there, and it's worth noting that Bernhardt has no anti-tank weapons. I mean, at most, except he went for both minesweepers, I would say he could go on for a Panzerschreck on the new Stern Pioneers, but because again he went for minesweepers on all of them, despite, you know, being up against the Americans, the faction least likely to lay down mines overall. I do feel like that's a bit of a more of a mechanical response than an actual, you know, good idea there by Bernhardt. I would say a bit unfortunate since obviously tactically he's been pretty sharp, but double minesweepers versus the Americans. I mean, if at least, you know, had them entrenched out, I could maybe see some logic in it, but he doesn't even have that. So there's not really, I think, much where they're from Ku. Looks is back in action. Bernhardt there going for the Kedmith, very good. And it is the Battlegroup headquarters, so most likely there's going to be a Command Panther stall here from Bernhardt. I do feel like he could get away from with the Schwer Panther quarter pulling out some panzers, but it is ultimately his decision. Ku there, they're slowly closing in on tank here. Yabala has not run a lot more tanks or anti-tank weaponry, indicating he is not too worried about the Bernhardt's light tank at all. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he would not be basically relying on a bazooka and a few anti-tank rifle grenades. Major pushback, we got the 50 cover they're cribbing about here in the far east and the west. Looks moving ahead, same to the rifleman. Trying to bait in that Looks, but sadly isn't quite succeeding at it. Isn't quite succeeding. Decent hit there with a bazooka, but it is just one bazooka. One bazooka and it's not going to stop a German light tank. So I think we've got the Stern Pioneers rushing in to further assist. Very good. In the east, big looks like engagement underway here as Bernhardt is moving on the point, though Ku doesn't really have a lot to deal with. He's got a rifle squad, which is out in the open, and 50 copper setting up, but he's beyond that a bit short on troops. Also worth noting is that Ku there replaces Lieutenant. Very good. Some players tend not to be good at it, but usually it costs the same as a rifle squad, except you've got a bar and a Thompson on top of it. So just, you know, upgrading, replacing Lieutenant when you lose them is actually straightforward, easy, and a benefit. Note that he's actually upgraded with Bazooka, indicating he is starting to get a bit worried about that look. So he's bringing that one. There you go. Spec up to Bernhardt. No surprise there. All of the signs were pretty much just, you know, apparent. So Command Panther's going to be, hopefully, does take up afterwards. Because against the opponent's clearly going to try and, you know, push out as many 76mm EC8s there. Command Panther could run into some issues after a certain point. Once Ku begins to hit critical mass, since the Command Panther simply cannot deal with too many tanks. Lieutenant having at it, 5th Cavalry hanging back here as well. And we go, got the looks creeping ahead, Veteran T2. And straight ahead, reaching the Allied lines. Vorwärts, bitte not that kind of panzer, we're here for reconnaissance, I don't care. I just want to pretend I am one for once. There you go, machine gun saves the day, then showing they do not get hit with an anti-tank rifle. Actually got a wipe there. Looks like the rearsen's bit the dust, losing the bazooka and the flame for a bit painful there for Ku. Also flanking up with the assault rifles, a big push there. And there you go, Ku is going for the EC8 Sherman here with its 76mm gun. That's going to be a bit of a problem there for Bernhardt, since he's only got a Kedmev to really stop it. Of course, the part of also going to come down to how well does Ku make use of the EC8, but if he does make strong use of it, it could really leave Bernhardt a bit sad. More reasons out there for Ku, probably for assistance, for repairing and all that. But I imagine also just to, you know, something to stuff bazookas on. There we go, rifle repulsed. Although it's only a bit of funny there how it's usually its least experienced troop that's meant to like fight tanks. Usually he wanted someone more experienced to deal with tanks if there was the whole concept of tank terror. Since for the average person, going up against a tank is actually not a very fun experience. In fact, the Germans, particularly doing Operation Barbarossa, had to put out a lot of instruction videos on how to fight tanks because they realised a lot of the troops were not used to it. That was back when they didn't have Panzerfaust and the likes to do it. Anyways, EC8 out here for Ku. Ku being pushed back, 50 cal moving up. Otherwise, not much happening there. Back in Bernhardt's base, all quiet. We got the medics at their work. And he's going for a Puma. Interesting. I mean, versus the EC8, if that is actually what he's planning to counter with it, I mean, it's a bit of a risky move. I mean, the Puma works alright versus sort of basic medium armor, but as soon as, you know, the tanks get better than that, the Puma tends to struggle quite a bit since it lacks penetration. But also just the health to really duke it out when you tank with just, you know, more health and armor than, say, a T-34. So that's going to be a bit risky there for Bernhardt. It's going to require some really solid skills, I think, to handle that Puma versus these. And there you go. Shot fired. And looks rapidly being pushed back here by the arrival of the EC8 Sherman, opening up behind the Sturmpine as well. Both squads caught and forced away. Kubo benefit immensely from 50 cal being added to the EC8 swarm here of Volksguns for Bernhardt. Fixing up the Sherman. Some corpse sent skidding away there on its head. There you go. Puma out here for Bernhardt with its 50mm gun. Rifles as Volksgun it is. 50 cal and bazookas there stopping up the looks. Oh, the Puma bit in there. Good looks of the flanking up behind the lieutenant. Nice work there by Bernhardt. A bit of alacrity. Volks advancing, there's being blasted. Sitting up with the Sherman once more. And there we go, he's adding the 50 cal there on top. So what will Ku go for next? I mean, theoretically could consider fuel cache just to assist himself with further tanks. We got a lot of mines here. No mine sweepers up our way there for Ku. Straight into the mine though. Likelihood here of getting the looks, I think it's going to be pretty high there unless he gets a really bad roll. But there you go. Successfully pulls off. Also smoking like Kednaf. Excellent work as well. Panzerfaust off. And Kednaf there trying to attack ground, hit it, but misses the target. Main point to keep in mind, if you attack ground with stuff like this for smoke, your accuracy goes down quite a bit. So But of course you can still do it, it's not going to be foolproof. Oh dear, lost the Puma as well. He did get the Ace-8, but I would say a Lux and a Puma going down is actually a reasonable trade-off. Not the best one, obviously. I mean, in terms of fuel, it does cost, actually, yeah, it costs a bit, but manpower-wise, you actually got a bit of a win there. But for now, for Bernhardt in the hand, the Command Panther is an option. And that, of course, is going to be the less glorious thing about that loss of this Sherman, because he's back to having basically a few bazookas to stop a Command Panther. Which is certainly not going to be the most straightforward task there for Ku and the 2nd Armoured Division. Grabbing the fuel point there. Interesting enough, Bernhardt is not calling in the Command Panther as of yet. I wonder if there's some reasoning for it, if he just hasn't realised he can call it in. Volkswagen being suppressed, being blasted. Leaves them there pursuing the Kubelwagen. Back here could go for the regular Sherman, but he's more like, I think, just go for the Easy-8. Oh, no, he's going for the Stukas of Fuss now? What is Bernhardt thinking? I mean, there's a lot of, you know, the elements of the Command Panthers should work out reasonably well, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure here what on earth he's thinking with that move. Or he's just more worried about the support weapons right now, if there's something else going on. Because normally you'd call in the Command Panther as soon as you can, but instead he's going for the Stukas of Fuss. You must really be worried about those 50 calibers or something like that. Really weird choice. Really weird choice. Definitely not the sort of choice I see here. But let's see what actually goes. I mean, Ku doesn't have a lot of tanks out in the field, so theoretically he can get away with it, but it's just so strange. Got into the outfield and upstairs the 5th of the Rifle in heavy cover. Tips on the defense in. There goes Stukas was up for Bernhardt. Note that most Panther divisions were not access to those, since they're usually only part of either Panther Brigade's, shall we say, mortar unit, or they were part of a Panzer Division's Panzer Pioneer battalion, in which case would be part of the heavy company. Fun fact. Bit over here to sort of salvage if he wants to. Could be getting himself some extra fuel. And theoretically, I mean, he's not too far from being able to go for the Command Panther ways again. I mean, he's roughly 2 minutes. Still just strange. Easy hit there for Ku. Stukas was there, waiting the right target to bombard with its rockets. There we go. We'll be unleashing hell here on Ku and the 2nd Armoured Division. Direct hit. Takes out the 50 caliber. Strong blow there by Bernhardt Stukas of Fuss. Sturmpani advancing there. Halfway to veteran fleet. You see it almost done there for Ku. Almost done, but not quite there. Not quite done. Now you're standing about here. Sturmpani in pursuit of the reactions and the 50 caliber there. Back at base. Bernhardt's preparing for the next big push, even as Ku is more or less standing right outside and knocking on the door. But there you go, 2nd easy hit out here for Ku. Hopefully this one will last a bit longer than the first one. But it was definitely an unfortunate loss there for Ku. Even if again he did get a Puma and a Lux. Timing wise, it was a bit awkward. Fifth caliber there close to the veteran T3. He's hitting him 2 moving up here. He would benefit from fuel cache, just assist him again with more fuel, just get out more tanks faster. I mean, whatever way he can just build up that critical mass, I think would be very beneficial there for Bernhardt. And there you go, Fultgren was the EC8, machine gun there being pushed back where Fultgren is, and of course a German machine gun. There you go, the 5th caliber crew did not make it back home at all. They got wiped. Nice work there by Bernhardt, nice work. Fultgren there being sniped by the Sherman. Up here, he's got Fultgren behind the wreckage of an EC8. Return charging force back on the 5th caliber. There you go, grenade assault, and they just throw it everywhere and manage to just sort of hit a lot of other spots, but they do successfully in the end push back the right. But that was some really weird throws at times. My God, Otto, how are you flying that run? Well, that's how my mother taught me to fly. What? There we go. Command Panther finally out here for Bernhardt. And more rifle here for Ku. That's a gun again here for the car point, but it's pretty risky there with the low health rifle, to be honest. Double jump part, well, he's unsurprisingly making very short, although that was definitely a weird move there, but Ku. Guess he might be getting a bit overextended and might be making some mistakes because of that. Got these hit moving ahead here again. Victory points wise, Bernhardt's got a decent lead over Ku. Stukas was there trying to silence the 50 cover there, and Ku hears it and retreats. EC8 was the Panther. Both getting a penetrating hit there, but the EC8 in the end wisely falls back. Since that is an engagement that we would normally favor by the Command Panther due to having, well, mostly better stats. Though of course it is also more expensive and hard to get than the EC8 is. And harder overall in terms of like just time to get it. You can get out an EC8 usually much faster than you can a Command Panther. Obviously again I know one requires tech, the other just requires a button, but you know, timing matters as well. As long as you don't throw away the Sherman, then almost more or less immediately like Ku kind of did. That undercuts it a bit. Still, it's not too far away from another EC8, and of course that's going to be where his advantage lies. You can just more easily get out a larger number of tanks than Bernhardt, who still hasn't taken up. So if he can build up a critical mass of EC8s, Bernhardt's Command Panther is going to find himself outnumbered and having a bit of a sad day. Sherman opening up, abandoned the forces behind heavy cover. The sandbags finding some safety, a measure of sanctuary, but not for long against the EC8 and its many machine guns, and more importantly, its 76mm gun. There you go, poor Ludwig stumbled over dead. Jason shouting forward with a bazooka and a flamethrower. Command Panther in the center being repaired by some rather depleted Sturm unit. Back here, reinforcement crew is not far off from the second EC8. Of course, Command Panther out, he could consider Jackson as well. But the EC8 number 2, of course, will also be helpful versus enemy infantry, so there's obviously an argument for both. As long as he ends up choosing either of them once he can. And he's more or less got the fuel for either, he just needs the manpower. But they almost cost the same, it's just the Jackson's slightly more expensive there. He's hitting up the west side here, trolling through the Allied lines, or the German lines. There we go, almost got machine gun there wiped out. That's going to be a bit unpleasant for Bernhardt if he does lose his MD-34. That's going to give Ku's infantry a bit more freedom, but it does successfully escape here the wrath of America. Command Panther in pursuit is a major making a major run for it, and there you go, Ku got the second EC8 on the way. Take anti-tank rifle grenade here should slow down the Panther a bit, at least force it away. Shot bounce, Command Panther doing about. There's 7 kills so far. Always worth keeping in mind the Panther's machine guns are pretty good. Whether that be the Command Panther or the regular Panther. Second EC8, they're almost done. Plus they're running away from the advancing lieutenant, shouting insults at them. There we go, second EC8 out. Lastly, giving Ku the numerical tank advantage, if you can sort of use it correctly, of course. If he throws away the Sherman again, obviously it's going to be less impressive. But great usage of the EC8s could prove to be quite critical here versus Bernhardt. Second EC8 moving up, very good. He could of course smoked up around here, anticipating there'd be something there that could threaten his tanks, and then just rode forwards there. That would think would have been a pretty good choice. In the west, though, he is forced to break away here in the face of Bernhardt's counterattack. Sturm Pioneers and the Command Panther leading the way. Setting up for a flank here, very nice work. A lot of Kevins are being nearby. Machine guns blasting away. There you go. The Kevin spotted by the rifle out in the open. EC8 being fixed up, almost good to go. And we got the Stukas just firing again. I almost forgot about it, to be honest. He hasn't been using it a lot, and there we go. Wiping out the 5th caliber. Bit of a blow there to Ku and to the 2nd Armored Division. But the tanks and their crews, more importantly, are still intact, so you theoretically could follow up with an attack now. In particular, it does seem like Bound is retreating a bit. So what will Ku and the 2nd Armour do here versus the 15th Panzergrenadiere? Reifman, Riesen charging forward, so you're going to try and do some damage to that Panther. We got the E6 coming up as well. Might be they kind of try and use some move up here and then get behind. Flanking the command Panther, increasing the chance of getting a wipe there. Not a bad idea if that's what they're planning. Machine gun coming fires the Germans advance. Of course, he's taking a very exposed route, so I mean, he's very much going to tell Bernhardt what he's aiming for. To an extent, of course, it's going to make it much easier for him to react in time. Attack to get out of the Panther. And again, this is where we just sort of flank up behind. Would have been much harder, I think, for Bernhardt to escape with this command Panther. Also might give him more time to attack and get behind it. Unit wiped somewhere. Not sure where, but looks like the Riesen's bit the dust again. Now another rifle squad. I'll wait, Ku made a bit of a push there, not the most successful one, but still made some progress. Bernhardt follow up there with more tech. That's like him with spare punted quarters, ensuring he does have something to follow up with once he starts suffering some losses, though he does have a lot of infantry and other bits. So far, Ku just hasn't really been able to threaten him a lot. In some ways it is. I mean, he's not quite been able to get the tanks into the spot where they really do some critical damage. That, and of course, he's been suffering more wipes than he's been able to inflict on Bernhardt. Unit wiped by a mine. Not good at all. Ku is definitely losing a lot of units just like that. Not quite paying attention. Then, boom, dead. Great though for Bernhardt. Great for Bernhardt. Got the Lieutenant in pursuit. The full steel pioneer is just rapidly disengaging up north here. Captain out here for Ku, an interesting choice there. Rushing like Kettenwerfer. Probably wants to get out some anti-tankers, maybe pack hardpoint coming far there. Realising he cannot fully rely just on EC8s, which is not a bad read in the situation. And a couple of anti-tankers or pack houses could be quite useful for varying reasons, depending on what he goes for. So we'll have to see what he does end up with. There you go. More rifle first out. He is still aware he needs more infantry. He should also be aware he needs the victory points by now. He is starting to suffer a bit there. Got the Sherms going forward, so they're rather bundled up here by the victory point. Could get a decent chance of wiping in. That didn't quite succeed. Lieutenant here on the flank. Got the Sherm rushing force across negative cover. Lieutenant here is doing some work, but ultimately he does risk being wiped out. And there you go, another unit annihilated. In this case, the Major, I think, paid the ultimate price in service of democracy. Certainly some nasty developments there. Both tanks being repaired. Nothing further happening there from the base premises. We could upgrade the Captain double bars or with double bazookas. Either I think would be helpful here for Ku versus the Germans. We're certainly digging in harder and harder. We got the Schwab Punch course going up here with the eastern victory point. That's going to make any direct movements there much more difficult for Ku and for the 2nd Armoured. Sturmpionier making a swift retreat there. Fult's going to be advancing slowly, moving up. Sherman's waiting for the right time to strike at the Krauts, at the Nazis. Bit of movement here. Oh dear, too slow to retreat. There, Ku's infantry preservation certainly has had a few issues this match. He got the Stukas first though with an absolutely ridiculously lucky shot. I mean, obviously missed the Volksgrenadiers and then just hit the Stukas behind. Veteran 2 on the Sherman though. I mean, it does help here versus Bernhardt. A bit, you know, means he doesn't have any rocket artillery, but you know, the way it happened is still a bit awkward. He also got a wipe there, so I mean, you know, some good hits there from the Shermans. Does leave Bernhardt a bit reeling, but there's still a long way to go. And Ku here following up with a Scott. Could of course go for more tanks, but I'm guessing he wants to get a bit of artillery there to bombard some of Bernhardt's position and maybe murder some of his troops. Points being secured there. And both EC8's good to go. One is stretching 2, one stretching to 1. As long as they stay together, by the way, they will benefit from the Radiant bonus, which is a pretty handy bonus to have. So what will Bernhard go for next? Obersoldaten? Panzer 4? Panther? Lots of opportunities there for him. And finding a perhaps here around the cuff point as Bernhard there goes for another flank. Very nice work there, very nice work. Got the Shermans rushing, we got the Scott moving up as well here for Ku and for the second armoured. Scott there providing support with the 10 from the gun, follows the pushback. Poor Jurgen obliterated. Go to the next target for the Scots Wrath and also forcing retreat there. Good work, good work. Fifth cover there, trying to flank up, put some pressure there on Bernhard around the centre victory point. He absolutely wants it. Slowly advancing under cover of artillery fire, got the Shermans coming in. Of course, he needs to coordinate correctly so the Panther can't just deal with the Shermans easily one-on-one. That'd be a bit unfortunate. Jump house quickly getting whacked here, but the fifth cover there, go down it goes. Mine went off here on the command Panther, damaging his engine. That's actually a bit awkward here for Bernhard on top of all the casualty stuff. And there you go, Kevin wiped out. Suddenly things are turning aggressively against Bernhard. Very aggressively. Holy smokes, it looks like a comeback here from Ku of the major ones there. Panther taking a lot of damage here. Kedma could go for another hit. Panther gains 22 though. Armour up. Still taking a lot of hits there. Oh, miss. Sherman getting Panther fausted a lot. We got White Fox called down here. Unit wiped out in the open. Might be getting a bit overexcited. Need to smoke like Kedma for there. White Fox was down here, going down, stopping up the infantry forcing retreat there. Command Panther still almost down, but he sells the Sherman. Scott there wasn't actually doing anything. Could have probably done but for a bit of extra support like Ken repulsed. Oh boy, that was rather intense all of a sudden. Just being a sort of medium temperature match, and all of a sudden someone just pulls it up to full temperature on the stove. Lieutenant on the way to replace the one lost there for Ku. He's only lost a few lieutenants. And we got a Panzer IV on the way there for Bernhard. Scott hanging back. You still think would benefit for a few marches, and they can somehow, you know, draw the command Panther that he might have a chance of stopping it. There we go. The umpteenth lieutenant out here for Ku. So many lieutenants. Hey guys, I'm your new lieutenant. No. What do you mean another one? How many have you had? 5? 3? 2? Do you even know how to count? No, sir. But we had a lot of lieutenants. You probably won't last much longer either. And he's got the Panzer IV moving up. He's rushing forward, so he's pretty confident about the situation. That is some pretty balls to play there with Bernhard. Probably helps with the flares. He spotted one of the Shermans with a damaged engine. And he should be able to get it there, in fact, since overall, Ku is still really short on anti-tank weapons. There you go, smoke screen off. The Kedma, though, is no need to be seen. Moving in the other Sherman to assist here. Just being pressed around the centre. Scott blasting a bit here in the east. Trying to take out the Schwerpanzerkorps with the Scott, I would say, is a rather ambitious task. Seems like you forgot about the Panther to focus on the Panzer IV, and that's going to cost him his veteran. Oh, the ambulance. Panther took out the ambulance. Sneaky Bernhard there, very sneaky Bernhard. He's hit with the Panther IV. We got Ralph Lieutenant moving up here. The Kedma creeping about. He's trying to catch, and there he goes, about to lose his German. Nope, pulled it around the corner again, but for how much longer can he just keep driving around the corner to save it? I don't think he can get away for much longer. There you go, Kedma for hit on the Panther. Trying to repair it up here. There you go, flanks the Panther with it. There we go. No! These slightly hit there, but didn't do enough damage since it was actually right next to it, only doing some AoE damage, and that was clearly dropping off a lot there. He's really close. But it's just not quite working on. There we go, marked vehicle on the EC8. A Kedma for there trying to win it up in time. Might be able to get the command Panther. It's going to be really close here. It's going to be really close. If he does pull it off. There we go, command Panther down. But there you go, Panther IV moves in and takes out the EC8. And Ku at this stage is barely anything left. He's got a captain left. He's got some support weapons and a Scott. But the rest is more or less gone. Ban on there, and while he has suffered some losses, still overall has a much larger force, and more important, he has a tank. Kulo's going there for another EC8. Oh, spotted here trying to grab the point here. White Foss being immediately called in to break up this Kraut concentration. There you go, forcing the Sturmpanzer away, buying some more time there against the Panther 4, but it's not a lot, and Ku is still just short of it. Infantry.
The capture point is being overrun.
Another EC8 there for Mr. Ku. And of course, again, as you might notice, the Lieutenant did not last long. Now, of course, there's also the other theory, which is that Ku personally just hates lieutenants. He just wants them dead.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
Got the Orbital down there for Bernard. Bit late to the party, but you know, better late than never. There you go, flanking the Scot with a kid in there for sneaky play there by Bernhardt. Sneaky play. Third EC out there. Note, of course, in this case, he did have a spare crew there. That was already veterans, so he needs to pop it in there, showing he does have an almost veteran 3 EC8. Nice work there by Ku. One of the few times we had to see that ability being used, but it is a powerful ability. Of course, used correctly. It's just most players never do. So, can this almost ace EC8 turn the tide here for Bernhardt? Can Brad Pitt take down the Schwer-Panted Quarters and knock out Hitler's teeth while in the process? Well, he's almost got the Schwer-Panted Quarters, which is something. Down that goes. Panfor going in, machine gun in a better spot. Scott and almost ATC engaging. McKenna spotting out here. Direct hit there on the Panther 4. Nice work, nice work. Flanked with the Orbital down here, getting behind, anticipating the machine gun hits and getting nicely behind it. Good work there by Bernhardt. Taking out with the Orbital Darden. And apparently that was manned entirely by officers. That's always been one of the weird things they do with the American system. Like, you know, a bunch of captains or lieutenants just manning the weapon crew there. Oh, they tried to repair the Sherman there, and it did not go well there. With this, I'd say it's GG here. Ku's forces have been thoroughly beaten silly. And there you go, Ku surrenders, a loss for America. Second Armored Division's push has been halted as they reconsider their plans and petition Patton for more artillery. So there you go, a nice little 1 versus 1 right here on, well, Crossing in the Woods. Perhaps not the most exciting fight, but a bit exhausted after having casted the large part of the 2 versus 2 tournament there for Relic, the anniversary bits. First wildcard tournament there. So, I have not had a lot of time to find something better. I'm just a bit tired out there from the match. So again, my apologies, not the wildest match, but you know, still thought it had some good merits to it, and hiding some vital lessons here and there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye, everyone.